Good afternoon and welcome to Traffic Radio.
Good afternoon, Moa.
All right. Good to have you in the studio. And of course, I won't be doing this alone today. Yes, I definitely won't be doing this alone. I have with me Abimbola Shakirat. Yeah, Majolagbe. Shakira Majola. Oh, the T is silent. Yeah, the T is silent.
Yes.
All right. You're welcome to Traffic Radio.
Good afternoon, La Farmers. Good afternoon, Lagos. Indeed, a wet Friday.
It is. The rain has been showing us, as we say, all day, all
Blessing
day.
for all, anyway.
Yes, indeed. All right. So on the program today, we have quite a lot to talk about. Let me start by asking our guest, Mr. Farouq. You recently installed the first Aeroponics tower in southwestern Nigeria in Ikoyi. Precisely, what specific technical and environmental challenges did you have to overcome to make this milestone successful? And then before you answer that, the very first question, I want to ask, what exactly, tell our listeners, what is Aeroponics tower?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Aeroponics is just a form of soilless medium where you grow your plants without soil. So your plant is being suspended on air, then you fertigate with nutrients through in a mist form. Do you understand? I know people will be like, is soilless farming possible? Yes, it is possible, it is realistic, and it is doable.
Okay. So basically, greenhouse.
Not greenhouse.
Not greenhouse.
So it's not a must you do your aeroponics inside a greenhouse. You can do it
Okay.
in an open field.
Oh.
But it's just a way of planting. Rather than planting inside the soil, you plant inside a tower. So you now suspend it on air.
Okay.
Then you fertigate with nutrients in a mist form.
So I have to digress a bit. I'm sorry, because you're just piquing my curiosity now. So does it mean that you can plant crops that are in season and off season?
Of course, definitely.
Fantastic. Okay. So now tell us, what are the challenges you had to overcome for this installation?
Yeah, just the way you asked. Well, it was not an easy feat. I must be sincere. To start with the technical challenges, though there were no big challenges as regard that, because the materials used we actually brought them to Nigeria, so they were not locally fabricated materials.
Okay.
Luckily for me, I have in my team different technicians, and there's this lady who is in charge of UFA Mikafila.
Okay.
She stays here in Lagos and she has been doing wonderfully well. So I had to reach out to her that I would like her to help me install an aeroponics. Of course, not the type she has been doing. So I just had to share with her the manual, some videos, and I must tell you, she was able to do a perfect job. As regards the environment, Ikoyi is not just like every other places in Lagos. So when we were about starting, the town planners came, they were like, we can't just install anything. So we need to get their permission. It took us 7 months.
Wow.
7 months before we got their permission. And even after the permission, another set of people came. We must not remove trees. For every trees we remove is 500,000.
Wow.
So we just had to look way around how to go about it. And today we are where we are.
That's awesome. So you have okay, first, how many greenhouses do you have installed across Nigeria presently?
Across Nigeria, I've installed over 100.
Over 100.
Over 100.
Okay, so how do you adapt your greenhouse designs to suit every region, every climate, and budget?
Okay, basically, let me start with budget, because fingers are not equal.
Yes.
And sincerely yours, agriculture today is no longer what it used to be. Agriculture today is very, very expensive. If truly you want to get money, you want to do it as a business. But regardless, like I said, fingers are not equal. We still have people who are very passionate about farming, and they did not have that kind of money, because trust me, if you're doing a size of 8x24, that's the least I do advise people to go. 8x24 meters, we're talking around 6 million.
Okay.
So, but for our local farmers, of course, they did not have such money. That's why we always advise them. They can always they don't need to innovate, but there is a way they can improvise.
Okay.
So rather than using the galvanized poles, they can make use of bamboos. If not bamboos, they can get all these planks. There is a way they install. You understand? So the only thing they are buying is the nets and the covering they are using. So that's actually reduced their price from their budget from like 6 million to around 1.5 or 2 million.
Wow.
So that's as
Okay.
regard budget. But as regard environment, let me quickly talk about the one we installed at Ikoyi. At first, I was thinking Lagos is the type that it always rain. Just like today, it has been raining since morning. So I was
Yeah.
like, the weather won't be that hot. So ideally, we have different types of greenhouses. So I was like, okay, we are doing the gable size. No, okay. I was like, okay, let's change it again. Let's do the arc size. Then we have our vents. So we put our vents. But while I was inside after the whole installation, I was like, this thing is hot. It's hot. Will our plants survive? Okay. So you just have to put another shade net. The shade net, the purpose of the shade net, because it is black in nature, so it actually reduce the level
Yes.
of heat. Do you understand? So we try to consider our location well for us to know the type of greenhouses we are to install. For places like Jos, we know it is always cold.
Yeah.
Of course, there might be no need for the vents type. You just do your normal gable greenhouses, and of course, because when it is too cold too, it is a challenge or it is a problem for your plants. When it is too hot, it is a problem. So there is a required temperature needed by each of the plants you are putting inside those greenhouses. So you need to understand that first. The moment you know that, then that gives you knowledge as regard or insight as regard, okay, what type of greenhouses am I to install here, and that's how we've been working.
Okay. Bimbola, let me yield to you now.
Baale of Milan.
Yes, ma.
Yeah, you're welcome once again to the show.
Thank
I
you.
know that it's a trade name everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your urban green lab
Okay.
and who are really your target beneficiaries and people that you've trained over time. And then what are the indices to actually show that what you've done have actually snowballed into the agribusiness space?
Okay, basically, my goal at first is to ensure that we are food sustained in the country.
Okay.
And just like I do tell people, more than 70% of the total population are into agri. I mean, here in Nigeria,
Okay.
yet we are not food sustained. It's not because we don't have people who are into agri, but they are not doing it right. So rather than having more farmers, why don't we just train people who can actually grow their own basic food at the comfort of their homes? And that was why I don't streamline it to youth, because I won't lie to you, I'm actually a fan of or advocate for youth active participation in today's agriculture. Before now, there's this stigma that agri is meant for the old ones, is meant for retirement packages and things like that. But luckily for us, the game is now changing. So I train both youth, the widows, and things like that. But like I said, the whole goal is to ensure that we are food sustained. All of us cannot be farmers, but we can all be food heroes. So that's how.
So what are the indices? What are the feedback you've gotten in terms of sustainability?
Okay, so the feedback have been awesome so far, because like I said, I was at Ikoyi last year. I trained over 50 widows, and presently I can tell you that over 40 of them are already growing their own basic food. Like I said, the goal is not just for them to be a farmer, it's for them to grow their own basic food. And sincerely, yes, we have different niche in agri, so you don't need to cultivate. There are other things you can do. There is logistic, there is commodity trading. We have those that buy from farmers that produce. Do you understand? They resell. Yes, exactly. They resell and things like that. So that's how it has been working, and feedback so far. And for me now, so like I said, I do help people to set up farms, and I ensure that for every person I'm putting in charge of the project I'm into, there are people I've trained that they are well trusted. You understand? They've passed through me. I know what they are capable of, and right now I have over 50 of them managing farms across the country.
Okay, so let's go back to extension, because I am an advocate of extension services, and we've met a lot of farmers. When we talk about hydroponics, we talk about greenhouse installation, the aeroponics. To that average farmer, it's a huge investment. So what we want to do is, how can our farmers or maybe other beneficiaries tackle into this? These innovation for the soilless farming. It's a beautiful and laudable idea. How do you think we can impact this because of the cost implication? What are other things that our farmers can imbibe without compromising the quality of the standard on hydroponics or aeroponics? How can they adapt to it?
So, well, it is not a must people go into silence, but the thing is that it is just the advantage is superb than when you make use of soil. However, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
So the goal is always you learn, unlearn, relearn. So while you are learning, so you grow, then you upskill. Do you understand? So there's no need for you to I just want to start at once, and because trust me, if you rush into it, you may actually definitely rush out. So it's always good you learn while you are going. So as you are going, then you upskill. So you can start with your soil. While you are doing your soil, you can just have like 10 grow bags, get your rhizomes, put your cocoa pits. Okay, when you see how the 10 is doing, okay, I can actually move from 10 to 50. You understand? From 50 to 100, that's how it works. So, but like I said, it's not a must you rush into hydroponics. Like I said earlier, it is very, very expensive. It is very, very expensive. But start from somewhere, then you upskill.
Okay, over to you.
All right, thank you very, very much, Abimbola. Well, for those of you who have just joined us, we are still on a Lagos farmer, and we've been speaking with Mr. Onaolapo Farouq. Well, that is Abimbola and I, and we've been asking him questions about the Aeroponics Tower and about the Urban Green Lab. Because of time, let me find now. Let's talk agribusiness and livestock specialization now. Are you called Mr. Rabbit by any chance?
I used to that was what I used to be addressed with as Mr. Rabbit before Baale of Milan.
Okay.
Because that was what I firstly ventured into.
Your niche.
After my
Okay.
So I was into rabbit farming, and I know a whole lot about rabbit farming. But after I took interest in soilless farming, so I just leave rabbit farming, and I went straight into soilless farming. Greenhouses installation.
So let's talk a bit about rabbit farming, because you see, chicken has become expensive. Fish too has become expensive. Now, what do you see as the biggest roadblock that is preventing commercial rabbit farming from becoming a mainstream protein source and dominant value chain in Nigeria?
Truth be told, rabbit is more expensive than chicken and fish. I won't lie.
It is.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Okay.
So because if you are to go into breeding of rabbits, and you have to use a good breeding rabbit, trust me. If you are to buy growers now, let's say New Zealand white or Isla is very common here in Nigeria.
Okay.
Because they grow very fast. If you are to buy grower of Isla now, I think that's around 10,000-15,000 naira for one, and the rabbit is just of 2 months.
Okay.
Do you understand? So, but the thing is, okay, can you sell your breeding rabbit as your meat rabbit? No. Do you understand?
Okay.
However, there are some rabbits that are being raised for meat purpose. Even if you are still to buy them, they don't come cheap like that. Do you understand? So, however, there is a way you can market, and this was what I did then. So I tried to understand who are those that rabbit meat are being recommended for. They understand the age ones, diabetic people. They understand. I meet with some specialists. Okay, I know you treat people like this. Can we work together? You recommend meat for them. Okay, so and that's how I work. I work with some research institute too. I know there's a research institute here in Lagos that I always supply rabbit to. I did not remember the name, but I know there's a research institute there. So that's how I work. Basically, my target then was not for the general populace. They understand, because I have those people. I have my target markets. They understand that. The thing is, people did not understand the benefits of eating rabbits. Trust me. Aside the fact that rabbit meat is better than chicken, fish, but it's
You're trying to sell us on that.
I'm telling you, rabbit meat is very, very sweet. If you should taste it once, okay, if you should taste it once, I can bet it with you. You will definitely want to have a taste of it again.
Okay.
But the fact is, it's not cheap, and people feel like people have this ideology of rabbit meat. Do people eat it? Is it meant for everybody to consume? You know, there are some people that they don't consume some certain meat, but regardless of your religion, so rabbit meat is not a problem. It's just that there's need for proper. We need to educate people on why rabbit meat is more preferable than others, but the problem is, because of the financial,
Yeah.
the economy is not smiling to people. So, like I said, it's not cheap. So, how do you now tell people to live what is cheaper to
Yeah, for
what is
something that's more expensive.
So that's the problem.
So, given your expertise, I mean, this spans both traditional crop planting, that's cassava, maize, and stuff, and of course, the high tech soilless farming that you have ventured into now. How do you think Nigeria can balance traditional agriculture with modern technology to achieve, this zero hunger goal?
Well, there is a lot for us to do in Nigeria. Actually, we are to eradicate food. We are to
Sufficiency.
we have to be food sustained in the country, and I don't think we have extension agents again. I don't think that they are not that active again in Nigeria. Even if you have to tell your younger ones to go and study extension, they'll be like, so do we still have extensionists in Nigeria? So, and this is where their works actually comes in. Do you understand? So there is need for them to let people know that agriculture today is no longer what our forefathers actually practice, is beyond cutlass and hoes. Then our forefathers, they were only doing it as a culture. They did not understand the business part of it. And trust me, if you are to make money today, you just need to understand that business aspect. The business aspect is what will tell you that, okay, I need to buy so type of seed. I need to use so chemicals at this period. This is the type of chemical I need to use to tackle so challenge. This is the type of nutrients I need to do. I need to use. Good numbers of our fathers, they did not make use of nutrients. They just plant and that's the end, and they harvest. But now we've understand that for every plant you have inside soil or soilless, so there is a required amount of nutrient needed on daily basis. There is a required amount of water needed on daily basis. Do you understand? You need to understand all this. How do you control your pest? That's where IPM comes in, integrated pest management. The moment you understand it, okay, marketing, how do I market my produce? Yes, our forefathers, they were into it in large scale, but they don't have the market. So, and that's where the middlemen came. They buy from them, and the middlemen were the one making the whole bulk of the money. But now the game is changing, the world is evolving. We are now in technology era, so there is need for the extension agents to move around, educate our farmers. Because remember, I gave a statistic the other time that we have more than 70% of our population into agric, but yet we are not food sustained.
True.
The reason is very simple. People are doing it, but they do not know how to do it right. It's not just about farming, but how do you farm right? Do you understand? And as well, we are now in an era where we are trying to eradicate food seasonality. That's where soilless comes in, greenhouses comes in. Do you understand? Okay, how do we tell our farmers that, okay, regardless of the season, you can plant so crop. You don't need to wait for so season. So there's no need for you to depend on rain before you now plant. So there are ways where you can plant. That's where irrigation comes in. We have types of different irrigations. Do you understand? Let them attend trainings and things like that. But the whole bulk of work is on our state government, federal government, local government level. I love what Lagos is doing. They've been doing a whole lot of trainings for the elderly ones, and it seems that people are really much interested in agri here in Lagos, because I've been training people here in Lagos. So they just need to do more of that, and I think good numbers of states are now copying what Lagos is doing. With that, I believe that we can actually do a whole lot, and they know that.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
Just quickly. Let me take you back to the soilless farming in terms of the substrate that you've mentioned. Give me roughly in a percentage of 100, how many of the substrate are used that can be locally sourced and the ones that you will buy? Because people are actually interested in soilless farming and they want to do something about it. So in your instance, we are talking about waste generation. Do you think it's something that one can venture into in terms of alternatives to this substrate that you have mentioned?
Okay, so basically, rice, I mentioned rice ox the other time. These are the shafts gotten from rice after they mill it. So I know in neighboring state, Abakaliki take for example, they don't have, most of the farmers there, they don't have the machine they use to separate the shafts from the normal rice. Do you understand? I know they make use of local method. I've seen it, and you can get from them. You understand? these things are waste. But now the fact that people
It's
already
gold money.
so they are already selling.
Yeah.
So there are things you can get. I know someone still reached out to me 2 days ago that he now have access to good numbers of rice milling machine that I want to start selling rice off. Do you understand? It's something that is accessible. It is available now. Do you
Okay.
understand? For the cocoa pits, it's something
Quite expensive.
is expensive actually. It's expensive, but you can go with rice ox alone, but it comes with technicality. So there's
Okay.
need for you to learn how to go about it if you are to do rice ox alone.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you the last question because we're, almost out of time now. That name, your persona, Baale of Milan, yes, it seems to blend with agricultural advocacy. You're blending it with football culture, local food, such as the Amala. So, how has this unique digital branding help you to break the stigma that agriculture is not a trendy or a viable career for young, upwardly mobile Africans?
People do ask me this question: that what's the brain behind the Baale of Milan? The fact is, I support a football club called AC Milan in Italy.
Okay.
We have a registered fans association here in Nigeria, of which I'm one of the stakeholders. So, Baale is head of community Milan. So, people have been calling Baale of Milan, Baale of Milan. So, at first I was like, I'm into agric, Baale of Milan. So, how will I blend this with what I'm doing? Okay, since people already know me with this name, and if you are to go on social media today, you type Baale of Milan, it will actually, what you'll be seeing is agric. You will really see Amala self because, yes, I've always been an advocate of Amala. In fact, Abula, yes. I organize party about Amala and things like that. But the thing is, since they already know me with the name, is already a brand on its own.
Okay.
You understand? So when you type Baale, so they know that okay, you're already talking about soilless farming, greenhouse installation, trainings, and things like that. So I just feel like there's no need for me to change it. You understand? There's no need for me to change it, and it has been like that, and I love it seriously.
Okay. Well, I want to say a big thank you to you for being a part of our program. I don't know, somebody's calling. I don't know if it's a question. Hello.
Hello, good evening. Thank you very much for picking the call. My name is Dr. Emmanuel. Please, I don't know how I can get his contact because my friend and I are actually into agri now.
Okay.
We still have our normal business and we've been able to successfully plant and produce up to Gary. And we've been having the challenge of selling the final product.
Okay.
So we don't know if there's any. I would really love to have the number.
Okay.
I'm behind the wheel, but I would listen by the radio. Thank you.
All right, just keep listening. Yeah. So he would like to know how he can get in touch with you. According to himself and his friend, they already have, a business ongoing, but it's just to sell the final product that's the issue. So maybe it's something you could help them with.
The thing is, I'm always scared to give out my number. The last time I was on,
give out an email.
So you can just reach out to me on social media. Type Baale of Milan on social media.
Baale of Milan.
You will see my Twitter and you will see my Instagram. Do you understand? You should just message me.
You don't want everybody to bombard.
It's always, no.
I know what that feels like. Well, again, I want to say a big thank you to you, Mr. Onaolapo Farouq, for being on the program, aka Baale of Milan.
Thank you for having me, ma.
Thank you so much for answering all of our questions also. And also, Abimbola, thank you very much. Thank you so much for being on the program today. Well, as I said earlier, that Lagos Farmer is a production of Lagos State Agricultural Development Authority, LSADA, under the auspices of Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems. And it comes your way Fridays at 4:30 p.m. So be sure to join us again next week for another edition of the program. My name is Dele Agadumo.